Muhami Matters with Chris Adams, powered by CJA Consulting.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you're the person who should be doing it. What you need to sell is pain and solution. Oh my God, are you suffering from this? Are you suffering from that?
Why would
Yeah.
you use a human ghostwriter or human over AI?
When you put stuff in there, it still sells features and benefits. If you want to sell pain and solution, you need a person to do that.
Hello, welcome to Muhami Matters, where credibility meets clarity in legal and professional services. I'm your host, Chris Adams, founder of Muhami and CJA Consulting. Today, we're joined by Lori Karpman, a lawyer turned marketing strategist and the founder of the Copy Lab. After 25 years of running her own consulting firm, advising on everything from franchising to operations, Lori has shifted her focus to her true passion, which is writing. She's StoryBrand certified, a best-selling author, brings a unique blend of legal insight and creative skill to the world of professional services marketing. So in short, she knows exactly how to turn complex legal ideas into persuasive copy that converts. In today's conversation, we're going to explore why so many law firms struggle with content and what makes writing resonate with clients, how Lori blends her identity both as a lawyer and an artist into her work. And so it should be relevant for everyone, whether you're a law firm leader in Dubai, consultant in London, or a professional services entrepreneur in New York. This episode has practical insights to help you raise your profile and grow your practice. So without further ado, welcome, Lori. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Chris. I'm excited to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your background. I know you ran a full service consulting and franchising firm for a long time. Tell us how you got to this point now.
Sure. So I started my career as a tax lawyer. So I'm a lawyer by trade. I started practicing tax, which I did for about 7 or 8 years. And then I left and I went to become in-house legal counsel for a very large multi-billion-dollar company. And they had businesses that were franchised. So that's how I started learning about the franchise community, was because they were franchisor of one business and franchisee of another business. So I spent 10 years with them and really sat on both sides of the fence. So I really got a very good understanding of franchising and how it should work so that everybody makes money. So yeah, after about 10 years there, I left. I started a chain of restaurants that I then franchised and sold. And then I started my consulting firm, Lori Karpman and Company, which is almost 25 years old.
So that one's still going. Lori Karpman and Company is still going, but you've
Yes.
also pivoted into writing and launched the Copy Lab, I understand.
Yes. The Copy Lab is my passion business.
Mm.
I love to write. It's my absolute passion is writing. And I started writing when I was 9. So I started a school newspaper in grade 4. And then by grade 5, I was editor of the school newspaper and I had a whole editorial team. So I've been very entrepreneurial since a young age. And I actually became a lawyer because those are the skill sets you need to be a good lawyer. You need to be able to
Absolutely.
write and speak
And boss people
and
around.
then boss people around. And I'm good at all of those.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. So, law was really, from the time that I was like 15, law was really the only thing that I ever wanted to do.
Mm.
So I did go into law. I practiced for 38 years, retired from the practice of law about 5 years ago. And I created the Copy Lab because the Copy Lab uses my legal skill set, which is writing to persuade. And as a lawyer, that's what you learn. You learn how to lead people down the garden path so that at the end of the day, they do what you want them to do. And that is the focus of the writing that I do now. So I use the same skill set, but I'm using it more in a marketing sales context than I am in a legal one.
That makes sense. Was there a light bulb moment, I guess you might call it, when you realized that writing's your passion and not something you just did as a lawyer, but something you actually wanted to build your business around?
I've always loved writing. And
Mm.
so when I retired from law, it was like, okay, but I still want to write.
Mm.
And so I used to have a business coaching practice and I used to tell my clients for every passion, there's a revenue stream. And I decided to take my own advice.
Yeah.
So I created the Copy Lab because the Copy Lab is my retirement business. I can live anywhere in the world. And as long as I have an internet connection, I can write and make money anywhere. So that was a large part of the of the reason why I opened it was because I wanted to create this retirement business.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful idea to me. How has your legal training shaped your writing style, do you think?
My legal training has shaped my writing because it's a very logical, when you write for lawyers or for a legal, it's a very logical progression of ideas.
Mm.
And that's the same way that I draft for marketing copy. The client needs to be able to see themselves with the pain that they're having. And then I position the law firm as being the solution to their problem.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that does sound very similar to what a lawyer does. So
Yeah.
I can see that transition. So you said your entire consulting business was built on writing and speaking. There are a lot of law firm leaders that really struggle with prioritizing content writing and taking the time to do it, either rushing through it or just not doing it at all. So what kind of
Right.
advice would you give to them, given your experience?
I would tell them to hire a professional copywriter
Mm,
because lawyers traditionally, and I myself is not included in this, but lawyers traditionally are more logical than they are creative.
mhm.
I happen to be extremely creative. I'm an artist. I paint, I sculpt, I do ceramics, all of those kinds of things. And so the fact that I have that knowledge and interest in other topics makes it easier for me to write for law firms because I know how to take complex legal ideas or legal problems and distill that down to a level where your clients will see themselves and they will see you as being the solution to their problem. And so then they will call the law firm.
Yeah, if I had a dime for every article I've read written by a lawyer that's just about the ins and outs of black and white of the law,
Yeah, because
I'd be a rich man.
because they write for other lawyers
Yeah.
and they should be writing for the public, but they don't. And and so, the best thing they can do is not even try to do it themselves, is just farm it out to someone who knows how to do it. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you're the person who should be doing it.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of them. That's what they want to do, right? They actually do want to
Yeah,
focus on their billable hours. They don't it's a necessary evil, the thought leadership, the content writing.
absolutely. Yeah, they put that as secondary or they don't see it as important and they don't understand that, thought leadership is how you get business.
So, in your experience, then, what kind of content actually converts? I mean, you've mentioned that the black and white law doesn't really work. So, what
Right.
does can work for them?
What works for them is, and what works for most brands is called the story brand method. Story brand is a writing certification, and it's extremely different. Story brand training is very different from writing any other kind of content that traditional content writers put out because traditional content sells features and benefits. This is what we are, this is what we do, we're going to make you a millionaire. That really doesn't sell. What you need to sell is pain and solution. Oh my
Mm.
God, are you suffering from this? Are you suffering from that? Well, if you're suffering from this and that, I can help you with that. So people actually, they see themselves in the story because you do it by storytelling and they see themselves in the story. And that's what makes content convert, is that people can see themselves in the story that you're creating.
Do you think that lawyers then struggle to identify who their target audience is and struggle to put themselves in the shoes of who they're writing for and who they're trying to tell the story to?
Yep, because they don't often know, unless it's a firm that specializes, so a tax firm or, a franchising firm, unless they specialize, in which case they know who their client avatar is. But most law firms are generalists and they don't know who their client avatar is. And that's part of the process that we go through is that we help them figure out what are their target markets because they're going to have more than one. So we figure out what are all the different target markets because the content that you would write for someone who's trying to settle an estate is very different than the content you'd write for someone who's thinking about going bankrupt.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you have to write different content for different audiences. And they typically do not do that.
And so, in your experience of clients, what do clients respond to? Is there a noticeable difference between what clients do and don't respond to when lawyers are trying to tell stories?
Yeah. Lawyers, when they're trying to tell stories, they're still using all the logic. There's no psychological component. And sales is psychological. And so there's no psychological component usually of the content that they put out themselves. It's usually
Yeah.
very dry.
Letter of the law. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Understood.
Very dry.
So I'm guessing that my next question was going to be around ghostwriting. Do you think it's a valid way for busy partners to stay visible? I'm guessing the answer is yes, given you already.
The answer is yes. I mean, I've ghostwritten books and speeches, and I mean, I write anything, websites, brochures, email drip campaigns, case studies, any kind of stuff like that.
So conversations I've had before with lawyers and other professionals, by the way, everything we've spoken about so far doesn't just apply to lawyers. I think it applies to any professional really,
Yes.
is
Yes.
subject
All
matter expert.
professional services. Yeah.
But professionals I've spoken to, I guess one pushback that I've had is around ghostwriting or something else is that, but how can that be right? Chris, you're not the lawyer or you're not you're the marketing guy. You're not the one who has the specialism in this. How can you write for it? So what's your sort of response to that?
Well, if it's a specialty that I'm not familiar with, I will educate myself. So, for example, I started writing for PC Magazine, and I'm not a tech person. So, there was a tremendous amount of research that I had to do to be able to write those. And those are articles that I ghost wrote for other people in the tech industry to be published in, PC Magazine. Um, but, ghost writing is the best way, especially if you want to do thought leadership, because thought leadership is what sells. It's content marketing. Content marketing aims at educating your target market. It doesn't aim at selling to them. So there's a lot of nurturing and a lot of educational content that has to come out that lawyers typically don't know how to write or they don't know what to write. So having someone ghost write it, then it shows up as if it's written by you. So I write it, but it shows up in print, by Chris Adams. So there's nobody who knows in the background that I'm the one who actually did the writing.
So do you do it from A to Z? Do you get you collaborate, I guess, with the person you're ghostwriting for to come up with ideas and concepts and topics and that sort of thing? Or do
Yeah.
you do it just from a blank slate?
No, I have a questionnaire that they fill out.
Okay.
So they fill out this questionnaire that tells me all about their brand, their business, who their target market is. So that allows me to get their voice. And it also allows me to learn what they think their clients' pain points are. Then, after I get that back, we get on a discovery call and we do what's called a storyboard, which is we put together, what their actual pitch is going to be based on StoryBrand method. And then from there, we look at what content is needed and I go off and I do the writing and then submit it to the client for review. So there's a long discovery process that goes on.
Yeah, that makes sense. I figured there would have to be because otherwise, how would you understand the person's voice that you're ghostwriting for?
Exactly. Yeah. And of course, I have conversations with them and I record the conversations.
Oh, okay. And AI is the big thing on everyone's mind now. Why, I guess another piece of pushback that I've had is professionals say, well, I'll just use ChatGPT or I'll just use Claude or something like that. Why would
Yeah.
you use a human ghostwriter or human
Because
over AI?
because none of those are human.
Hmm.
And none of those are going to be able to, when you put stuff in there, it still sells features and benefits. If you want to sell pain and solution, you need a person to do that. You need someone who understands what your client's pain is and how to position yourself as the solution. And that's basically what StoryBrand is.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think analysis is the one thing when people talk about, is AI going to replace lawyers and is AI going to replace accountants and all that sort of thing.
No,
I wouldn't have thought, yeah, because my view is that, yeah, it can do the black and white, the letter of the law, whatever stuff, but it can't do the analysis and it can't shape it to the exact legal problem or other problem that
no.
client might have.
Yeah. Yeah. What you get out is very generic. I mean, I sometimes have people who want me to just edit their articles. So they write something, they throw it through ChatGPT, they send it to me, and then I modify it. So I edit it and modify it and make it human because you can't just take it as it is and just use it, holus bolus, just take it and cut and paste and use it because it's AI generated. So it always sounds different. It sounds AI generated.
Mm.
You can tell the difference between what is authentic copy and what is AI generated. And I typically write from scratch.
Well, that would be definitely be original then. Yeah, I think people are actually becoming more cognizant of when something is AI generated. There are telltale signs, aren't there? And yeah, clients or people at the other end, the recipients, I guess, of the message that you're writing, your audience are getting more savvy.
Yeah. The problem with with AI is that as more and more people use it for the same things, the content that you're going to see coming out is going to be homogenous. And over time, you're going to have less creativity, which I find really sad. As a writer, I find that really sad.
Yeah, it's originality and yeah,
And
creativity and
authenticity, it's
yeah,
gone.
that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, absolutely. So you've said being a lawyer is what I do, not who I am.
Right.
Explain that to us a bit more.
I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I used to litigate. So many years ago, I go to court and I bring the client's manager with me. And they've met me and you've met me and I'm, very calm and easygoing. And I go and I get into court and all of a sudden I turn into a pit bull
Hmm.
because I'm trying to do my job for my client. And so I'm going to be a pit bull and do whatever I can to win for my client. We leave after we win. We leave after, and the manager looks at me and he says to me, "Who the hell was that?" I said to him, "That's me doing my job as a lawyer." He says, "Well, I've never seen that in you." I said, "No, because you've never had to see me litigate." So he says to me, "I never seen that woman." He says, "All I could say is no more red meat for you."
Oh
So
dear.
there was a perfect example of saying to him, being a lawyer is what I do. It's my job. It's not who I am as a person. It's not my identity, but it's what I do. And that's why I explain to a lot of people who are in sales and they, "Oh, I hate sales." And I say, well, but you're not a salesman. Being a salesman is what you do. It's not who you are. And there's a very big distinction in that.
Agreed. 100% agreed. And it's almost like an act, isn't it? It's a performance.
100%. So the same way that actors, they go on Broadway, they do their performance and then they leave. It's the exact same thing for me.
Yeah.
And people always ask, like, I'll be against a lawyer in the courtroom, and then after, we'll go out for lunch together. And people say, like, how could you go out for lunch with like the counsel from the other side? Like, that's your enemy. No, he's not my enemy. He's just another lawyer doing his job. He's trying to do the best for his client. I'm trying to do the best for my client. It's nothing personal against he and I. So that's why a lot of people don't understand how lawyers are all friends with each other, despite the fact that they're often adversaries.
So you describe yourself as an artist. Is
Mhm.
an artist, would you say that is what you do, not who you are, or is being an artist who
No.
you are?
Being an artist is who I am.
Okay.
That's really who I am, and that's why I love all the art. So that's why I love writing. But I paint, I sculpt, I do ceramics, I make dishes and jewelry and soap and candles and all that kind of stuff. I just love to do. I have very good fine motor skills to do things with my hands. Gross motor skills, not so much. But the fine motor skills, yeah, we're all good there. Don't ask me to play sports. Two left feet.
Well, you can't be good at everything, Laurie.
No, and I am certainly, I was not born to be an athlete. That's very obvious.
Well, at least you found your calling, at least you found your strength. So,
I
what
did.
is your future vision then? You mentioned
Well,
that basically becoming or formally becoming an artist is a retirement plan. But what's your
yeah,
plan?
my future looks like this. I work from my home in Costa Rica. And I get up and I go for a walk on the beach, have my cup of coffee, then I'll sit down, I'll work for a few hours, spend some time at the beach in the afternoon. That's what my day looks like. Because I can and I would love to have just a little stand next to my home where I can sell all my art. Because I have all these different things that I love to make and like for whom, right? So I'd love to just have a little place where I could sell my art and I can make a living writing. That's my future. That's the
Sounds
picture.
fantastic. And hopefully not working 24/7.
No, the idea is that I'll only work like 3, 4 hours a day. That's the goal.
So do you find the being in Costa Rica, is that inspiring for you? Because I mean, if I sat down and had to write 10 articles as a ghostwriter for other people, I think I just have massive writer's block. How do
Oh
you
no.
overcome that? Is it where you are, your
It's
environment?
it's who I am. I don't I rarely get writer's block. I mean, it has happened to me in the past. It's extremely frustrating. Fortunately for me, it only lasts a few days and not years. But yeah, I don't really struggle with that because I can always think of ideas to write. And, being able to do it in a place like Costa Rica, just the whole pace of life is slower.
Mm.
So no matter how much work I have, the pace of life is going to be very different. And the way I structure my day will be very different. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I don't think I could ever retire. I don't know what I would do if I ever just completely retired. I don't know what I would do. So I can write until I die, basically, as long as I don't have dementia, I'm all good.
Well, I guess if you enjoy what you're doing, then it's not working, is it? You never have to retire if you're enjoying what you're doing.
100%. And I've had my consulting firm for almost 25 years and I've loved every moment, the highs and the lows, but I just love every moment of working and because I love what I do.
So, from your experience, who do you collaborate well with? What makes for successful collaboration between
I
artists and
collaborate,
lawyers?
I collaborate very well with graphic designers, web design firms, and digital marketing firms because a lot of them do whatever their skill set is, but none of them do content. So I come along and I make them more full service to their client. So now a web design firm can say, well, we can provide you with a turnkey solution because we do the content as well. Graphic designer, same thing, turnkey solution. We'll design your brochure, but we'll also write the content. So I'm an added value to a lot of other businesses.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that, and I agree. As a marketing and business development consultant, I can't perform well for my clients on my own. I definitely need to work with people like you, with web
Yeah,
developers, with brand experts, whoever it may be, because that's the only
yeah.
way to provide a really good all-round service to the people we work with.
100%. And I have a large circle of providers of strategic partners and providers. So, I've become for my clients the go-to. The like Lori has a guide. I need someone who does XYZ. Call Lori. Lori has a guide. Lori does everybody. So
Amazing. So
yeah.
if someone does need your help, Laurie, if they need a fixer, how can they get in touch with you?
Oh, it's really easy. It's Lori at lorikarpman.com. Or just look up Lori Karpman on LinkedIn. So it's LoriKarpman. So it's
Or
Lori
just
Karpman.
stop by down Costa Rica and hope to run into you.
That's right. Come down to Costa Rica and buy my art.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Laurie. It's been really insightful and some really, I think, practical advice, but just eye-opening, especially to see someone who's, had a very formal, I guess, job uh,
Yeah.
as an actor and is now, relaxed an artist and enjoying what they
Yep.
do, that transition.
Yep. Yeah. I'm very fortunate, knock wood, that I have the luxury to be able to do this. And not everybody has the luxury to follow a passion business, and I do. So I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, well, thank you again for joining us. It's much appreciated. And whoever needs Laurie's help, get in touch with me, get in touch with her directly, and we'll work out how we can all collaborate together.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, Chris.
You're most welcome. So, for our audience, that's it for this episode of Muhami Matters. A big thanks again to Laurie for joining us today. I guess she showed us why words matter and how you transform a law firm's growth strategy with storytelling and the importance of not just doing the letter of the law. So, if you're a professional services leader who's been putting off content marketing, this is a really good sign, I think, to start now. Get in touch with people like Laurie and myself, and we can help you to grow your business. For more insights and support, visit muhami.ae, connect with me at CJA Consulting, or get in touch with Lori Karpman. For now, I'm Chris Adams. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and good luck with your content marketing. Thank you for joining us on Muhami Matters. If you found today's episode valuable, subscribe and connect with me to stay updated. Join me again soon as we continue to bring you credible insights, practical strategies, and trusted advice to empower your professional journey. I'm Chris Adams. Until next time, stay informed and stay empowered.